Offensive Rookie of the Year. Also an archetype for this.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it's got to be, you can be a quarterback and win it. You ain't got to be on a good team. Justin Herbert won it. Beachbot Stafford won it at 6-10. Kyler Murray won it at 5-10-1. Emory, what do you think in terms of long shots, mid-range, and favorites here?
Well, I feel like Herbert won it because of how he had to get the job. I mean, they told him right before kickoff, hey man, you got to go in.
Because they stabbed Tyrod Taylor in the
kidney. we had attempted murder happening over here. Like, you got to go in. So, and he went out there and lit it up. So, but for me, it's like, hold on, let me put my collar up because people know I ain't playing with y'all. Anthony Richardson winning this one. This is my favorite because I also like the Colts to win the division, right? And so for me, and we know how this is, it's no different than MVP or anything like that. If a team is doing well, quarterback will get the credit. And it just so happened to have a rookie quarterback. And if he's playing well, we know the Colts, I think, have a lot of good personnel pieces around on both sides of the ball. They'll give it to Anthony Richardson. That's my favorite. My mid-tier guy is Jahmyr Gibbs because I feel like he's going to have so much fun running up and down the field on that turf in Detroit indoors. In the at Ford Field. Then he gets to play indoors in Minnesota. It's going to be fun to watch him just tear it up all throughout the season. I didn't go rubber stamp with Bijan Robinson because I know that's an easy thing, and people kind of just rubber stamp Bijan Robinson as RB1 and all kind of just like kind of people rubber stamp. There's one football show that everybody claims they love, but is really awful. It shall remain nameless.
Is this about like a team, one team every year?
Right, exactly. Right. If you win all state because you're the only team in the state, that's what I'm referring to. Good call right there, Will. And my long shot is Trey Palmer, wide receiver for Tampa Bay. Big fan of him coming out of Nebraska. Big fan of him because he's also from New Orleans, so I know you got that dog in him. And you
2 preseason touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. And they've been wild touchdowns too at plus 6,000. And with Tampa, I kind of like Baker Mayfield throwing the ball deep down the field. I feel like Baker Mayfield is being underrated a little bit with Tampa Bay. I think Trey Palmer is going to surprise some folks, and people are going to say, well, how did he fall this far in the draft? So why not throw a couple shekels on plus 6,000, according to Caesar's odds?
I like that. I agree with you on Anthony Richardson. That's been my favorite for a long time. And I will say a month ago on Caesars, he was 9-1. And now what are we looking at him here? Plus 600. So you could have got him for better. But all the reasons that you said, Emory, I think, in a Shane Steichen-led offense, we saw how he was able to develop Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. You got to think that there's a huge upside for Richardson here. So love him as a favorite. And then I don't have a third one, but I like Zay Flowers at Caesars at plus 20. Plus 2,500, I believe, is plus 3,000.
30-1 at DraftKings. Yep.
Yeah, and look, the past 2 offensive rookies of the years have gone to receivers, so why not make it a third with Zay Flowers? And you look at this Ravens new look offense with Flowers and OBJ is like, what a great mentor that he has been to him, and they're getting along really well. And then you got a new offensive coordinator in Todd Monken. You finally got rid of Greg Roman. So this offense is generating a ton of buzz right now. I think they're going to be a much more pass-heavy team than they have been in the past. And you look at someone like Flowers, he had 78 passes, over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns with a crappy quarterback in college last year. And now he's got Lamar Jackson, who I think is going to have a big breakout year. So I like Zay Flowers at, what do you say, 30-1?
Yeah, I would throw out too. I agree. Zay Flowers at 30-1, great. I like Quentin Johnson at 22-1. Jalen Hyatt, a good long shot at 40-1 with the Giants. We saw him catch. He had a really bad drop on Friday night against Carolina in the preseason. Followed up immediately by absolutely smoking Eric Rowe and getting deep, wide open for a touchdown, I believe from Tyrod Taylor. And so that the rookie out of Tennessee could be a pretty good look. The problem with anybody who's not a quarterback. Mentioned it before. We've seen the wide receivers win it in the last 2 years. We've seen running backs win it. I think it's 3 wide receivers, 4 running backs, and 5 quarterbacks, maybe 5 running backs since 2011. You have to die. If you are betting on anybody at a wide receiver or running back position here, you have to dodge 5-win competent seasons from Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, and CJ Stroud. And 2 of those guys are in the same division, which I guess could cannibalize each other. Yeah. But to me, Bryce Young at 5-1, that's where the biggest investment should be. Carolina has a pretty easy schedule. If they don't have to win the division, if they win 7 games, and Bryce Young plays the whole season and doesn't get killed behind this offensive line, he should get serious consideration for that award. So I think Bryce Young, and I really like Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers, and Jalen Hyatt. I believe that's all of the rookie looks that I had. Oh, Tank Bigsby, 50-1. Don't hate it all.
Yeah.
He's gotten a ton of run so far in the preseason, has looked fantastic. And if something happens to Travis Etienne, he could be the feature back for a top tier team in the Jaguars. He also could just be the guy around the goal line and get all those high value carries for the Jags too.